Hey guys, I'm Ray. I'm a junior in high school, and this year I'm going to be making an electric recumbent trike with indoor seating. That sounds kind of complicated, but it's really just going to be like an e-bike with three wheels, and two wheels would be in front. And then you would also be able to sit inside of it just like a car, so it would be like comfortable, and there would be heating and cooling and all of like the benefits of being in an indoor space. Um, Regarding this project, I don't have any other previous experience other than some engineering classes at school, but those don't cover like mechanical or car related motors or anything, so I'm going to have to research and learn all of this on my own. And then this is going to be the first video of my full experience of this project in a tutorial type layout. And this video is just going to be going over the design brief and the CAD overview. So this PDF document I've pulled up is the design brief. I made this just when I was thinking of the idea for the first time. So for me, I live in Chicago, as you can see right here, but temperature fluctuates a lot throughout the year, and it's really difficult to go through traffic and all sorts of things in cars just because of how long it takes. So micromobility is also really useful, but it's also really difficult to use like bicycles or any other personal transportation when it's really cold outside. So normally people resort to using cars, and that makes traffic like even more inefficient. So I was thinking of a method of personal transportation that would let individuals just get around even during the winter, and they'd be able to use it year round. So maybe it'd be indoor space, maybe you could convert it outdoor, but I'll work out all the kinks later. But I'm kind of dead set on the trike idea itself. But I have a lot of constraints that I'm going to go over. So my budget's going to be $4,000, and that's going to be all the full project money. So whether it's tools or on the trike itself, that's going to be the full amount of money that I'm going to spend on this project. So I have to be really careful about what I'm buying, and I can't really waste money on anything. So all of my parts are going to be the cheapest I can be. And then another constraint that's going to be really difficult for me is that I live in a townhouse, and I have a two-car garage with two cars in it. So I'm going to have to figure out how both those cars, or I'm going to have to figure out a space for me to work on this project, either by getting rid of the cars or making space in the basement. But I plan to be welding, and I'll have to learn how to use larger tools, maybe like drill press or angle grinder, but I'm going to have to practice and work on using all of those things. And then right now it's really chilly outside in Chicago. It's like 20-30 degrees, so it's also really difficult to work outside or even in the garage. So I'm going to have to probably get as much as I can during this cold weather, as much as I can done during this cold weather before, so that I'm fully prepared to go outside and work as soon as the weather gets a little better. And then this is just going over the solution itself, but it would just be the electric reverse tricycle, and it would probably be pedal free just because it's going to be electric. So I plan on just using the motor and steering for full control. Obviously it would have like brakes and other stuff, but I don't think pedals would be necessary if I'm planning for the design to be relaxed and everything. And then these are just some possible features. This was just an initial sketch of the design I made, but I'm going to be going over the CAD with a lot more detail right now. Yeah, you guys can pause the video anytime if you want to read any more detail about this brief, but yep, let's go to the CAD. Okay, this is the current CAD design that I have for the trike, and as you can see, I put up some dimensions just to help you visualize just how big it's going to be. This is for one person, and they're just going to squeeze in right in that area over there. And through the right you can kind of see, kind of visualize just like that. So their feet would be on this side and then head right over here, and they'd see right through this window right over here. And then just for comparison with these dimensions, here are some bike dimensions. And they're both not too far off. I want to make this trike as small as possible just to make it a lot more manageable and just easier to fit everywhere. So this should from the rear wheel, it should be able to fit into a standard bike parking lock place, whatever. So this should be pretty portable and pretty efficient in terms of size. You can see a lot of the parts better from the side. Obviously, this CAD isn't perfect. I'm not that amazing at CADing. All of my knowledge, I learned a lot during this CAD, but a lot of my previous knowledge was on smaller parts. I've never CADed something this large, and as you can see, there's a lot of parts in this assembly. So yeah, obviously everything's not in it either. I have to put in the steering, I have to put in the windows, and then finish up the sides. But this is just the basic frame, and a lot of the back has a lot of details. So this is going to be the rear swing arm, and I have the suspension coil up there, and then the motor is right here, and then motor controller and battery is right over here. You might be able to see it a little better. Oops, let me just turn over here. Right here, and then let me just make this invisible. Okay, so you can kind of see what the parts look like down here. This is the motor controller, battery, and this is the wheel. A lot of the stuff is still able to turn. I tried to put in axles and everything, but I'm not sure how to make this like actually springy, so unfortunately this isn't move right now. If I delete, oops, wrong thing. If I delete this, this whole piece moves just to imitate just a real swing arm. And I was debating whether to put suspension in or not, but after doing research, I decided that suspension on the back would be really useful, especially since that's where the motor would be running. So that would help limit all of like the bumps and make the road feel a lot softer, especially if you're going through any sort of rough terrain. And then on the front, I still have to put in all of the other parts, but let me just make these floors visible. So you can kind of see the full frame and all of the pieces over here. I put in a little bit of the steering components there, but I'm still working on that, so I left it alone for now. This was mainly for the frame and rear swing arm, motor, battery components, and it would have kind of all the basic things to just get started on the back. I didn't really put in a seat either. I was just planning to, I don't know what size seating to have. I just know that the seat's going to be all across there, especially over here where you're going to be seated, especially, and a door as well. I didn't put that in. This is just a basic frame, and it only has like the bare essentials for this car to drive. I might need to worry about balancing the weight, but in general, it shouldn't be too heavy. I'm planning to make the trike itself weigh under 200. I went through a lot of designs on the rear swing arm, and as you can see, if I go to, I have a folder for this. So here in my part folder, you can see all of the different parts that I have. And then over here, I have a couple of different iterations of swing arms that I tried. So you can see, like over here, I wanted to see if 2 suspension swing arms might be better, but it ended up not working out. After a couple more iterations of like experimenting with how I would assemble the rear swing arm, I decided on this one. So I would have the wheel protection up here, and then the motor would fit inside the swing arm itself, and then the motor controller would just be tucked underneath this, and nothing would touch any of this, assuming that this frame would be intact. And the battery would just sit over here with wiring to the motor controller and to the motor, and this distance should not affect any cable management because it's so short. So even if this turns, the cabling here won't get tangled or anything just because of how small of a distance this is. So I thought this was pretty nice, and I just have to make sure this motor is fully supported by the frame when I'm installing it, just because this part's going to be moving, and I don't want the motor to fall out or the chain to become loose just while driving. And I have to put in a sprocket here as well, but I haven't decided on how many teeth I want yet. Again, this isn't really professional CAD. Obviously, there's a bunch of flaws throughout this, but I was able to finish it, and it took me way longer than it should have, but yeah, I was able to finish the entire frame, which is what I needed, and it really helped me visualize just what it was going to look like in real life. If you guys have any questions at all about the project or the CAD or the design brief or anything, feel free to ask me in the comment section, and I'll try to respond as quick as I can. I want to be helpful for any other people trying to start their own projects. A lot of the stuff here that I'm going to be doing can be applicable for other transportation. Even if you don't want to make a trike or anything, you might need the same steering or the same motor or some sort of details. So if you want to make any sort of vehicle just like this tutorial might be helpful for you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this project, and I'll post a video soon regarding the motor and the battery and the first test of how I wired those up. I'll leave a link to the CAD itself down in the description, so if you guys want to check it out on any 3D viewer, you guys can look around, see how terrible my CAD skills are, but you guys can just experiment with it, look at the frame itself and all of that. So if you guys want to look at that, just check the description. See you guys in the next video.